RFK Stadium is dying. Once the beating heart of DC sports, it now sits in eerie silence, surrounded by rusting metal, cracked concrete, and overgrown grass. But in late April, that silence was broken. The mayor of DC and the owner of the Washington Commanders announced a $3 billion plan to bring football back to the city. Not just a new 65,000-seat stadium, but a complete transformation of the 170-acre RFK site. It's a bold vision, but it comes with a $1 billion ask from taxpayers. And not everyone thinks it's a good deal. This is the story of RFK. While one of the most iconic stadiums in the country fell into ruin, why its future has been frozen in red tape for nearly 2 decades, and whether this new proposal could finally bring it back to life. In the 1930s, several groups across the US championed the idea of building a national stadium, a grand memorial to President Theodore Roosevelt. Envisioned with a seating capacity of 100,000, it was intended to host presidential inaugurations and global events like the Olympics. But after decades of failed fundraising and stalled plans, a scaled-down vision emerged under the 1958 DC Stadium Act. Designed as the nation's first true multi-sport arena, the 56,000-seat stadium opened in 1961, instantly making it one of the largest and most versatile venues in the country. At its debut, RFK Stadium housed 3 tenants: the NFL's Washington Redskins, MLB's Washington Senators, and George Washington University's football team. President Kennedy's ceremonial first pitch set an attendance record, but behind the scenes, the Senators were already faltering. Competition from the Baltimore Orioles, combined with burdensome rent and concession terms, strained finances, and fractured fan loyalty. On September 30th, 1971, fewer than 15,000 fans watched the Senators' final game, a night that ended in chaos as fans stormed the field. With baseball gone, the Redskins emerged as the stadium's dominant force. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, Washington soared, winning 3 Super Bowls. Yet owner Jack Cook grew increasingly frustrated with failed negotiations for a new, modernized facility. Environmental battles, neighborhood resistance, and political disputes, especially over the team's name, derailed progress. In 1996, the Redskins played their final game at RFK before moving to a suburban stadium in Maryland, taking with them the arena's most dependable revenue stream. Desperate to reinvent itself, RFK once again leaned into its multi-sport legacy. In 1996, DC United arrived as one of Major League Soccer's founding clubs, giving the stadium new life. And in 2005, the Washington Nationals brought baseball back, briefly rekindling old excitement with a 45,000-strong crowd. But the resurgence was short-lived. Baseball left in 2007, the Military Bowl followed in 2013, and RFK's crowds and revenues dwindled. The final chapter came in October 2017, when DC United played their last match at RFK before moving to Audi Field. With their departure, RFK lost its last professional tenant, and its once thunderous stands fell permanently silent. And then the inevitable question was asked: what now? Facing annual deficits nearing $3.5 million, Events DC made the decision in 2019 to demolish the stadium. An interior demolition finally began in January of 2025. Massive sections of the facility are rotting away, and the area around the stadium shows clear signs of disinvestment. But just days ago, that narrative completely shifted. In a major announcement, DC's mayor and the Washington Commanders unveiled a sweeping proposal to bring the team back to the city. It's a plan that has energized local leaders and generated national headlines. At the heart of the plan is a complete redevelopment of the existing 170-acre parcel. The site would be divided into 6 districts, 3 spearheaded by the Commanders and 3 by the city. The Plaza District would feature a large public gathering space with housing, restaurants, retail, and entertainment options that support stadium events. The Stadium District would center on the new NFL venue itself, while the Riverfront District would offer additional mixed-use development. Public access and recreation are also key components. The Anacostia Commons would preserve 30 acres of riverfront parkland and trail space. The Recreation District would retain RFK's current playing fields and introduce a new multi-sport complex, likely focused on track and field events for schools in the area. And finally, the Kingman Park District would offer new housing and public recreation space. The plan includes 8,000 structured parking spots, significantly fewer than the 22,000 currently available at Northwest Stadium. The proposed stadium would seat 65,000 people, making it one of the NFL's smallest venues, matching a growing trend toward more intimate high-tech arenas. Covered by what appears to be a fixed ETFE roof, the enclosed structure would allow natural light while enabling year-round events. Planners estimate it could draw 1.4 million visitors annually through NFL games, major concerts, and hundreds of private events. The broader site would include 5,000 to 6,000 new housing units, with 30% marked as affordable. It's an ambitious vision for one of DC's most neglected spaces. But before anything is built, there's one big issue left to discuss: the funding, and it's already proving divisive. The total cost of the proposed development is estimated at $3.8 billion. Of that, $2.7 billion will come from private sources, making it the largest private investment in the history of Washington, D.C. This funding is backed by the NFL and primarily driven by Commanders ownership, a group we'll dive into more shortly. The remaining $1.06 billion will come from public funds. Of that amount, $500 million is allocated specifically for infrastructure improvements beneath and around the stadium footprint. To finance this, the city plans to extend a unique revenue stream known as the ballpark fee. Originally implemented to pay off the bonds for Nationals Park, this fee is collected from certain DC-based businesses and was expected to expire in 2026 once those bonds were retired. Under the new plan, the fee would be rebranded as the Sports Facility Fee and extended, an idea that's already raising concerns among businesses that had expected it to sunset. Taxpayers would also cover $202 million for roadways, utility infrastructure, and a transit capacity study to assess whether upgrades, such as a new metro station, might be necessary. Currently, the site is served by 3 metro lines at Stadium Armory Station, along with multiple bus routes. Events DC, the city's convention and sports authority, would contribute $181 million toward building parking structures. The final portion of public funding, $175 million, would come in 2032 through stadium revenue bonds backed by the city. DC's mayor has played a key role in advancing the project, viewing it as a pivotal step in helping Washington shift from its reliance on federal jobs to developing its own economic identity, especially as widespread government layoffs have impacted the local economy. The development is expected to generate around 16,000 construction jobs and 2,000 permanent jobs. And perhaps no one is more energized by this project than Josh Harris, the owner of the Commanders. To his credit, he's led a remarkable turnaround on the field. And off the field, he sees the stadium as a critical next step in the team's growth. Harris, who also owns a large share of the Philadelphia 76ers, had previously been involved in plans for a downtown arena in Philly. With that project now shelved, his attention appears fully focused on delivering a new permanent home for the Commanders in the heart of Washington. Public funding for sports stadiums has long been a contentious issue, with many arguing it should be avoided at all costs. Critics often view it as a misuse of taxpayer dollars, while proponents claim such developments can serve as powerful economic engines. In this case, supporters argue that the new Commanders Stadium could drive growth, attract major events, and revitalize the surrounding area. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell even stated that Washington's chances of hosting a Super Bowl have gone up dramatically as a result of the plan. DC's mayor has emphasized that the public funding comes from the city's 6-year capital budget, not its operating budget, which covers essential services like teacher salaries, social programs, and daily operations. The capital budget is typically used for things like major infrastructure projects and affordable housing, so those priorities aren't entirely insulated from impact. Visiting the RFK site today offers a stark reminder of what happens when a major sports team leaves, and it's clear why pretty much everyone agrees that the area needs a new vision. Whether this proposed redevelopment is the right answer, however, is still up for debate. The project's future now hinges on a vote by the DC Council, where the chairman has already voiced concerns over the use of taxpayer dollars. If the plan is approved, groundbreaking could begin in late 2026, with the stadium targeted for completion by 2030. Between YouTube and my personal life, I'm always traveling, and staying connected is non-negotiable, whether I'm navigating a new city, uploading footage, or just trying to grab an Uber. That's why I'm excited to partner with Saily, your new travel buddy. Saily is a dead simple eSIM app that gets you mobile data in over 200 countries. No physical SIMs, no overpriced roaming, just install it once and you're online the second you land. Setup is honestly as easy as it gets. Download the app, pick a plan, follow a few prompts, and that's it. You're ready before you even leave the airport. Plans start as low as a few dollars. You can even buy regional or global plans and use the same eSIM across multiple countries. And here's the best part. Use my exclusive code BUILDCORE at checkout to get 15% off your first data plan. Just scan the QR code on screen or head to Saily.com/buildcore. It's fast, affordable, works with iOS and Android, and even comes with built-in ad blocking and security features to protect your data. If you're traveling soon, don't risk going offline. Download the Saily app now, use code BUILDCORE at checkout, and travel smarter.